Welcome inside the vault on a Purple Friday. It's the 19th of December. I'm Bobby Trossett. This is my co-host and partner, Sarah Ellison, and Week 16 began last night. And Sarah, if that's any indication of what's to come this weekend, what took place last night in Seattle, which maybe was the game of the year from an entertainment perspective, we're certainly in for a treat coming up. Sunday Night Football is what we're working our way towards. It's the Ravens and Patriots, and we're about to bring in just momentarily here Greg Bedard, longtime Patriots reporter and analyst for some New England perspective. So looking forward to that. But partner, you ready to get this thing started today?
I'm ready to get it started. We're just a few days away from Sunday Night Football. Can't wait to break it down with Greg.
Let's do it. Right on cue. He's in the waiting room, and let's bring him on in. Greg, great to have you. Happy holidays to you and yours. And should be a blockbuster game coming up on Sunday night. Thanks for the time today.
Hey, no problem. Thanks for having me, and happy holidays to everybody.
Appreciate that. Greg, I think obviously the whole, football country is talking about the comeback win the Bills had over the Patriots there. Can you tell us from like a Patriots point of view, as you guys head into this Ravens matchup, what kind of went wrong? It had to go on all three phases, right? It was obviously the defense not getting stops, but also the offense. Maybe Drake Maye struggled a little bit.
Yeah, they were rolling at halftime, 24-7. 30 minutes away from an AFC East title, and then it all fell apart. And really, it was all three phases that contributed to the game. The Bills had three long kickoff returns that helped get them going. The defense gave up 5 consecutive touchdown drives. They could not get off the field. They couldn't hold them to field goals. Offensively, they went away from the run. That worked so well in the first half. They had like 177 yards rushing in the first half, only 3 carries in the second half, including Travion Henderson's second long touchdown run. And Drake Maye just didn't play well. Watching the film, there were plays there to be made when the Patriots were covered. For example, on the final fourth down play where Joey Bosa deflected the ball. Not much available to him. There were some problems with the routes on that play, but that's a situation where if it's Josh Allen on the other side, he pump fakes Joey Bosa and runs around him, picks up the first down, and then they're off to the races. And they just couldn't. Nobody could make a play. They needed 1 or 2 more plays to win that game, and they just couldn't get it in all three phases. It was very uncharacteristic of the team because they've. There was a reason why they started, 11-2 and won 10 games in a row. They were getting contribution from all three phases, but it just escaped them in the second half.
Maybe some of that had to do with their leading tackler being down, Robert Spillane. I'm just seeing some tweets pop down on the timeline as we speak right now that he is not out there for practice, so perhaps trending towards missing a second consecutive game. Greg, how big of a deal is that for level 2?
Yeah, it's huge, and this is a Patriots team. As you guys probably know, I know the Ravens have had some tough injury luck over the years, but normally when you have a really successful season, you get a lot of injury luck, and the Patriots had that for a great bulk of the season. I mean, this is still a rebuilding team, a reloading team, and they're very thin across the board, but for much of the season, they didn't have many injury issues at all. They still haven't had to, knock on wood for them, they haven't had to put a starter on season-ending IR, which is highly unusual. And, it's just sort of accumulated. They're missing Milton Williams at defensive tackle. Their issues in the run game started a little bit before that, before Williams got hurt. He won't be able to come back until after this game. And then you combine that with Robert Spillane, who's really their only true good solid linebacker. I mean, Christian Ellis had a really good game last week. His calling card had been special teams. He's improving. Jack Gibbons is the other linebacker. He just couldn't do what Spillane did, and they got gashed in the run game. They got gashed in the pass game, and that's sort of my big worry in this game with the Ravens, with what they do running the ball. The Patriots over the last 4 weeks have been one of the worst run defenses in the league, and not having Spillane out there, it makes the challenge that much more difficult.
Yeah, here it is right here. The first 9 games of the season, the Patriots allowed only 75.4 yards per game. The last 5, 130.4, which is 19th in the NFL. So to go from first to 19th, do you chalk that up to all injuries, or has it been opponent based? What are your thoughts on that?
No, I mean, when they were fully healthy, they were a pretty good run defense, against just about everybody. And it was really good team defense. So Milton Williams, Kyrus Tonga is a guy that not many people know. They signed him in the offseason from the Cardinals, and he's been one of their best players. Now, he had been hurt the week before with a chest injury. He came back in this game and had by far his worst game of the season. I don't know if he's still trying to play through something or what, but he was running up the field. This was really the first time on film that you could see their run defense like really struggled with gap integrity and things like that. So, was it a one-off or what? We're not sure. But like I said, with what the Ravens can do with Derrick Henry and Lamar and, their variety in the running game, this is going to be a big chore for them.
Greg, how do you evaluate the whole discussion surrounding some of the disrespect with the 3-point dogs, right? Yet 11-3 versus 7-7, yet you get the home field advantage. So Vegas has that to take into consideration. But, a lot of people talking about the fourth place schedule, who they have beaten versus who they haven't beaten, how ahead of schedule they are in the Mike Vrabel era, so on and so forth. So you've watched every single game, every single play, I would imagine. How do you evaluate, gauging the eliteness, if you will, of the Patriots in year one with Vrabel?
Yeah, I mean, look, I understand it. I didn't really understand them being underdogs at home last week to the Bills, who they had beaten in Buffalo, but those guys turned out to be right. I mean, I wouldn't say it's disrespect. I think it's just people aren't sure what to make of the Patriots because they have had guys over at FTN Fantasy. Aaron Schatz is a good friend of mine, and he has DVOA and all that. And their schedule it's twice as weak as the next higher team, the 31st team. And so, a lot of it is their schedule. There's not much you can do about it. Their wins at Buffalo, you could say that they sort of snuck up on the Bills a little bit. Maybe they didn't really take them seriously. They beat the Bucs at Tampa, but it was like the half Bucs. They didn't have Bucky Irving and Mike Evans and Hassan. They didn't have a lot of people. And then, the Bengals game, Joe Burrow doesn't play in that game. It's Joe Flacco, and they barely hold on at the end. So I think people are waiting for sort of that signature victory. The Bills game was that for a while. You can have caveats with that. That's why I think this is a significant spot for this sort of young Patriots team going to Baltimore Sunday night against a desperate Ravens team. The Patriots really don't need this game. They could, if they want the number one seed, they could lose this game as long as they beat the Jets and Dolphins in the last two games. They win the AFC East. So this isn't vital for them. But, these two games are, playoff type games. And now they looked at the Bills. They saw them eye to eye. They see what it takes, what it's going to take to defeat a team like this. And the same thing's going to happen with the Ravens on Sunday night.
And how do you anticipate Drake Maye to respond specifically? I mean, he's obviously having a sensational sophomore season. MVP conversation, took a hit a little bit last week. And this, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this is his first year in this specific offense. He seems to be taking charge. So what do you feel like he's done so well to take a step forward? But what are there still some weaknesses that maybe the Ravens would want to exploit?
Yeah. So, a couple things about Drake Maye in this game or going into this game. So, this team had a late bye, the latest that you can have. They've had two sort of layoffs. They had a Thursday night game, and then they had like 10 days off. They came back and played the Bengals, and he had a really rough first half. They have the bye week before the Bills game. He comes out now. He played well in the first half. The second half, he did not play well. It was probably his worst stretch of football, maybe of his career. But he's always come back the next game and played really well. Once it's almost like he gets out of rhythm as far as playing, and he has some issues sort of guiding the ball, being a little bit tentative. What the Bills did in the second half to sort of slow him up was they disguised coverages a lot. Steph Diggs had a couple problems with his routes in this game when Drake was really looking for him in crucial spots. That sort of let him down. But, going into this game, this Ravens defense does a lot of the same things as far as showing different things pre-snap and post-snap. And with any quarterback, that's going to give him issues. But I will say Drake's proven to be extremely smart so far in his career. And he and Josh McDaniels together, you could tell any weaknesses that are exposed, they see it on film. They talk about how to solve it. And they're better the next time out. So, I'm anticipating a good Drake Maye in this game. And so we'll have to see what happens.
You mentioned, your buddy Aaron, and I listened to one of his podcasts this week, and the statistic that he floated out that I think is really interesting going into this game is how dominant Drake's been against the blitz. Like DVOA is second best league wide among quarterbacks at 40%. And so, obviously, the Ravens sit here and they're kind of a chameleon when it comes to their pass rush unit. Like Sunday against Cincinnati, they were utterly dominant. And, it was no coincidence getting a guy in Tavius Robinson back after multiple months down. And Dre'Mont Jones was brought in as an acquisition at the deadline. But I bring it up because, they got to know that, their staff has to know that. And I wonder what Drake's protection has been like this year.
It's been good. I mean, even they had, Will Campbell, who was their top pick, went down. He's going to be designated return. He can come back, for the final game of the season. And even without him, Vederian Lowe has been pretty good. A lot of it starts with Josh McDaniels, definitely prioritizes, like anything that they're doing in the pass game, they prioritize how are we going to protect him on this play, where the year before with Alex Van Pelt, that was not the case. And they left these tackles on an island and they weren't good enough. So the pass protection has been really good. I actually think the offensive line is coming off their best game of the season. They were able to do a lot in the run game. Drake was not under much pressure, but you talk about, he's good against the blitz, because I think it defines a little bit more clearly like where you're going to go with the ball. Most teams have found success against Drake Maye rushing for, with a spy. If you're going to blitz, if you're going to play man to man, you better account for his legs, or else he's pretty fast. He can make a play in a hurry. So, most teams rush for, spy, and then change the coverages and drop a lot of people in the coverage. So they've started to double Stephon Diggs a lot on third down. Hunter Henry gets a lot of attention. Those are his two main people that when Drake needs a play, that's who he's looking for. So that's sort of how teams have dealt with them of late.
Yeah. It's interesting how the Patriots defense is getting banged up, and it's the Ravens defense that's actually getting healthier. And for the first time last week, we saw that where they actually got pressure with just 4 men up top, and they were able to drop and do some coverages that were disguised and all that kind of stuff. So it worked against Joe Burrow. Let's see if they can do it repeated against Drake Maye. But if you're going to take a step back, 1,000 feet up, what's the matchup or the key besides turnovers? It's always turnovers, right? Besides turnovers, what is the key to this game for either team?
Yeah, I think, for the Patriots, I think it's I think number one, they have to stop the Ravens ground attack. Like I said, they've been really poor against the run. Last week was their worst performance of the season, just in terms of what they did up front, gap integrity, and getting off blocks. They just couldn't. I mean, if they do that on Sunday night against the Ravens, it's going to be a long night, and they're going to be on the field all day again. So I think, when I look at the Ravens, that's where I start with them. Look, Lamar, maybe he's getting healthier, maybe he's coming out of it, but I think what we've seen out of him this year, especially since the injury, I would rather take my chances with him throwing from the pocket and beating me that way than Derrick Henry getting downhill on me. So, I think that's job one for the Patriots. As far as, what I think the Ravens need to do against the Patriots. I think it would be, I think most teams, we've started to see it of late. Offensively, you really want to concentrate on getting the ball to your tight ends and running backs because the Patriots have some issues at linebacker and safety. Josh Allen basically, I think he threw 13 times to his backs and tight ends in that game. Patriots cornerbacks are pretty good, even though they're banged up. Carlton Davis, I don't know if he's back today, but he's been dealing with injuries. Marcus Jones, their slot cornerback, one of their best players, an explosive punt returner. He came out, really beat up from the last game. So if they don't have him, it's going to be a tough chore. So I would attack the Patriots that way, and then also just don't let Drake Maye get outside the pocket, make plays. Especially he loves to roll out to his right. You want to keep him in the pocket or going to his left, and still he's good that way, but he's deadly rolling out to his right.
Looks like some of the beat noting that Marcus Jones, Carlton Davis are here, meaning at Gillette or Foxborough, for the media access portion of Friday's practice. So that maybe bodes well for their status. And as far as the Ravens are concerned, real time, up to date here, the only player they're missing is a veteran defensive tackle, John Jenkins, who's been playing pretty well against the run. So that could just be an
illness, right? That was an illness.
I was going to say that could be a veteran day, or it doesn't say, Sarah, but was he on there earlier?
Yesterday was as an illness. Yeah.
So, all right, man. Well, hey, Greg, thanks so much for the time. Are you a score prediction guy before we get you on out of here? Or?
Well, my podcast, if people are interested, we broke down the game more. The Greg Bedard Patriots podcast. If you just Google it, this one is truly a toss-up for me. I just don't know. You guys probably deal with the same thing. I have no idea what Ravens team we're going to get in this game. I mean, they look terrible. They haven't been a very good home team. If they don't get off to a good start in this game, and the Patriots do get off to a fast start, if the Ravens fall behind, it sounds like, a lot of people are disgruntled there. It could get ugly. But then again, maybe they found something last week. But it's a toss-up game for me as of right now. I'm going to dig into the film a little bit more, but I'm going with the Ravens by 3 in this game, something like, 24-21, 24-20, somewhere in there. Where the Patriots are right now, health-wise, I just don't know how they're going to get off the field defensively. I think the Ravens defense is going to slow up Drake Maye and that offense enough times where the Ravens grab a victory, but who the heck knows with that Ravens team? They look like world beaters one week, and they look like they can't play football the previous 2 weeks. And so I don't know what we're going to get on Sunday night.
Sarah, we could both relate to that.
That might make level. 3 of us.
Trying to cover them and understand them this year, Greg, has been challenging. We're going to link to your Twitter account in the live chat, which folks can see up on the screen right now. You can be found at Greg A. Bedard, and we're going to link to that YouTube show as well. If people want to kind of sink their teeth into the New England perspective a little bit more between now and Sunday night. So, hey, man, thanks so much for carving out some time for us, and enjoy the weekend.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Thanks,
Absolutely.
Greg.
Long time Patriots reporter Greg Bedard, kind enough to spend some time with us, Sarah, and it's time for you and I to weigh in on the prediction aspect of the game. Just to be clear and get everybody up to speed here. And by the way, if you could shoot Greg a note, whether that be a tweet or perhaps a subscription to his YouTube channel, I'm going to drop that into live chat right now. Kind of him to carve out some time for us on a busy Friday. But Chido Awuzie has returned. So he's been dealing with that foot and missed the first 2 days of practice, Sarah, this week after what we know was a collision, a run-in, an encounter with the netting on the sidelines in Cincinnati. So good news for him. That's great news for the Ravens secondary that he should be back. Like you said, John Jenkins is dealing with an illness. Clearly something's working its way through the locker room. And that would mean that outside of Teddy Buchanan, whose season is over, John Jenkins is the only practice absence, which we know that there's a reason as to why. So they're relatively healthy. Whereas let's pull up that New England side of things again, because man, I don't think you can overstate the absence of Robert Spillane. And you heard Greg mention it a couple times there. He is their leading tackler and somebody that is not going to be there when Derek gets to level 2 and is coming downhill with a steam full ahead mentality.
Well, it's crazy because he's the leading tackler, but I believe I better look it up. But their other linebacker, but it's the outside linebacker. He's their leading sack getter, I believe.
Milton.
No, I was thinking of Landry.
Okay. Yeah, leading the way for them is Harold Landry.
Yeah.
Milton Williams has got 3.5. Landry's got 8.5. And they got Chason at linebacker, who's got 6.5. So they use him in a bunch of different ways.
Well, and how about Marcus Jones? Bobby, he was the AFC Defense Player of the Month back in October. He's their leading interception getter. He's like the leading pass breakup guy. Did you say he returned today?
Well, he and Carlton Davis are both back, at least for the media portion viewing of Friday, according to Mike Reese. So
usually if you do media, it means you're going to practice, but they're obviously banged up after missing 2 practices. So,
correct.
Man, their defense is really banged up.
Yeah, and it's why I'm picking the Ravens. I'm going 27-21. I think the Ravens are going to be able to effectively move the ball. And I don't think that Sunday's, let's call it, spark of getting home and pressure on that 4-man rush, I don't think that was an aberration. I don't know if it's going to be able to continue consistently enough for the Ravens over the next 3 weeks to go unbeaten per se, but I liked what I saw. And again, I don't think it's a coincidence with Tavius coming back, freeing up Dre'Mont, the inside-out game that Zach Orr now has at his disposal with those 2 players, allowing Mike Green and obviously Kyle Van Noy to be more of a rotational kind of role for this team as well. So with all of that in mind, knowing that the Ravens historically play really well, except this year, as you heard Greg, at home and in prime time, where they're under 500 and they will finish 500 for just the 3rd time in franchise history. I do think that they have a whole lot more to play for than New England does. You heard it from Greg. They don't, I'm air quoting this for the audio only audience. New England doesn't need this game. The Ravens, if they want to control their own destiny, you have to go get this game. I'm going 27-21 in a game that they effectively run the football, clean football. And so I think some special teams with Tyler Loop showing up will be big for them on a Week 16 primetime victory that kind of reinvigorates this fan base for this closing stretch.
Yeah, Bobby, I'm with you. It just seems like too big of an uphill battle right here, where for their first 9 games, they were first in the NFL in run defense. And then the last 5 games, they fall into 19th, 130.4 yards per game. And it's that's why I asked Greg. I said, is it completely linked to the injuries? And he kind of said yes, like for the most part, right? When you don't have Spillane, when your top defensive tackle has been on injured reserve, they're just banged up. And I think the Ravens are coming off of a confidence booster. Kyle Hamilton said as much in the locker room. I feel like the defense is finding its way with the 4-man fronts. They are going to have to deal with a different offensive line, though. We all know what the offensive line situation has been like for a long time in Cincinnati, and the Ravens took advantage of that. Greg here talks about, well, they've had good protection. They've had good O-line play. So they're going to have to find a way to do it against a more superior offensive line. But the key to me, if the Ravens can stick to their guns, if Todd Monken can stick to their guns, is to be able to control the clock with the run game. Just keep pounding. They're injured. They're banged up. They're not going to be able to take Derrick Henry in the cold. They just wear them down. And so that by the time you get to that 4th quarter, it's just like their will is broken. That's really, and then as we know, they have to play clean football. And that's what Greg was kind of making a point to. I don't know which Ravens team is going to show up. All I care about is that a clean Ravens team will show up, because I think then everything else will fall into place. So I'm right in line with you guys. I'm going to go 24-19 Ravens.
24-19. I got 27-21. Take a look since week 6, pretty hefty sample size, where the Ravens rank in run defense. And this is a 2-headed, I don't want to call him monster, but 2-headed duo coming to Baltimore in Travion Henderson and Ramondre Stevenson. Both of those guys can tote the rock effectively for this offense. But take a look. And for the audio-only audience, I'll just kind of take you through what it is that we're looking at here. The rush EPA per play allowed is where the Ravens lead the league, Sarah, since week 6. And you take a look, they're up there with the Rams, Jacksonville's, Seattle's. So this has been a group that's been really, really formidable. It starts with big Travis Jones, big number 98, clogging up all kinds of space and lanes and gaps and doing what he does best, which is why they paid him so handsomely a week ago. And then obviously you know who's waiting for him after that. If it's level 2, I think Roquan's playing as good as he has this season and maybe in recent seasons over the last 2. And he's going to be ready to go, which does bring me to, and I don't know if you wanted to play this a specific time, but Roquan's got a new running mate that he's very familiar with, but that he hasn't played with, at least the sample size that he's about to for this closing stretch, now that Teddy Buchanan is down. And that is, of course, Trenton Simpson, who Kyle Hamilton spoke glowingly about, which you wouldn't expect anything else. But why don't you go ahead and throw, I got it right here. Kyle Hamilton on Trenton Simpson as he gets ready, Sarah, for what? 3rd time's a charm, right? He's been demoted twice. Teddy goes down. Next man up is number 32.
Yeah, I sound like a broken record saying this, but we have guys who are best kept secrets, honestly, on this defense. Who are super talented, just the way things shake out. Don't get a ton of snaps at whatever position, but obviously sucks for Teddy, who's having a great rookie year, and it sucks to see somebody go down like that. But he's got a bright future ahead of him. I'm sure he'll do great with rehab, but Trenton steps in, and it's almost like it was a seamless change. It's not like he came in and they started gashing us in the run or stuff like that. He actually made a lot of stops in that game, and we're going to be relying on him going down the stretch. So I'm excited for him. It's year 3 now. He's going up a lot. Super excited to just put his talent on display because I think he is honestly one of the more talented people on this team, on this defense.
A bunch of best kept secrets, huh?
He is talented. I don't think that's really, he's always shown talent. It's more like just being at the right speed of NFL football. That's kind of always been where he's at. And since we're playing Kyle Hamilton, clips, here's the one I was talking about when he talked about how big of a confidence booster Cincinnati Bengals shutout was to them.
For sure. I think it's a confidence builder, definitely. And again, Cincinnati, who, kind of had our number since I've been here. I can't remember a performance where we left the Cincinnati game feeling good about ourselves since I've been here, really. So I think that was a big confidence boost for us as a defense, just knowing what we're capable of and still watching that film and understanding where we could be better at is a big thing for us. So scoreboard says 0 points is obviously what we love at the end of the day, but still a lot of stuff we can get better at through these last few games into the playoffs.
It's funny, Sarah, because we know that Lamar's never lost in Cincinnati, right? And so you're thinking to yourself, Kyle's been here since 2022. What's he talking about? Well, they've won barn burners in Cincinnati.
Yeah, it's because of Lamar in the offense. Yeah.
Where Kyle's defense, which is why he's talking the way that he is, even though they walked away victorious, it was still like a 38-piece or something crazy like that they let up, and they needed Marlon Humphrey's interception in overtime on Joe Burrow, if I'm remembering correctly, to win that game. So you can see why he's still got sort of a sour taste in his mouth, even though historically in the Lamar era, they've been nothing short of dominant and one-sided in these matchups with Cincinnati.
Exactly. He's definitely referring to the defense, that they've had their numbers defensively. So, but just on the Trenton Simpson thing, where he was like, hey, when Trenton came in against the Bengals, it's not like they started running against us. That's true. Do you remember when Teddy went down? I'm trying to remember if it was early, middle, late. I can't even remember at this point.
I have a note on it, so I'll look it up.
Okay, you look it up, because this is a different animal. I mean, the Bengals were in a, I'm just wondering if he came in after the defense had already kind of broken their wills, because they were broken for sure. And so this week with Trenton Simpson, he'll be taken off the field a lot in 3rd down. So is Teddy Buchanan. Like, you bring in your dime packages. Kyle Hamilton plays at the linebacker position a lot, so Kyle Hamilton can go there. I mean, they'll do different things with their defensive backs, and so most likely Trenton Simpson will come off in obvious third and long and all that. It's more the run game, which Teddy has been solid in being a great running mate to Roquan Smith. So we've talked about him, Henderson and Stevenson. They're their 2 leading backs. One has 773 yards, the other one 374, and Drake Maye 362. So as Greg said, they're going to want to keep him in the pocket. Don't let him, gash him. And the Ravens defense have plenty of practice against that with Lamar Jackson. So Trenton Simpson does have quite the assignment with this 2-headed monster, maybe 3-headed monster if you put Maye into the equation.
I had a note that Teddy went down late in the first quarter, so pretty early.
Okay.
pretty early in that game.
That's a fair point then by Kyle Hamilton. Got to do it again against these guys that lean into the run a little bit more than the Bengals do.
That's correct. Appreciate you guys for being with us on this Friday. Let's get a read in here and tell you a little bit about Primary Residential Mortgage and the continued support that we get from them. I don't know why this isn't being, hold on a second here.
Not coming up as you'd like.
There were just slides and you name it. And sometimes multitasking is difficult, you know? Okay. Primary Residential Mortgage. We appreciate the continued support from them. One of our longest standing sponsors. And did you know that refinancing your home loan can get you cash to finance your seasonal expenses? That is no strings attached money that you can use to finish home repairs in time for the family to visit, check off all the big ticket items from your gift list, pay the bills so your paycheck can go towards fun and festivities. Whatever you're looking to accomplish this holiday season, your home can help. And you can help yourself right now by reaching out to our friends at Primary Residential Mortgage. If you're in the Baltimore area, the Maryland area, there is a branch in Towson. But if you're not, they are all over the country. You do not need to be a Marylander, a resident, native, whatever, to work with Primary. Zach and Michael and Naz and Devin and George and their awesome team in Towson. A bunch of people that I trust wholeheartedly. I want to get my home buying process started at some point in this life. If I can find a significant other that wants to go in on one with me, Sarah, but that'll remain to be seen. Yes, there will be an update based on what happened last night. There's not a whole lot to update on, spoiler alert, but we'll get there. And what we'll also get to on the other side of this holiday season is our December giveaway. Because as you see on the screen right now, we've got a bunch of you that are making sure that you've been entered into the $100 Fanatics gift card giveaway that we're doing at the end of this month. We're going to give it out and randomly give it to you on December 31st, New Year's Eve, to celebrate our continued partnership with Primary. And if you want to enter yourself in, go ahead and comment on the post that we have linked in our show notes. If you're watching live, we have it pinned in our live chat at the moment. Comment on the post with the hashtag Vault. Tag 3 friends, as you see a bunch of you already are, that you'd buy a home with. Follow PRMI Mid-Atlantic on Instagram. Subscribe to the Vault on YouTube. And if you want to go the extra mile, just copy and paste this Google form link. It's 30 seconds to fill out. If you win, we'll easily be able to contact you so we can get you that gift card. You can also scan the QR code that you see up on the screen right now. And that is that. So yeah, more updates to come. Mike has gifted a channel membership. Welcome to VAULTRON status, Mike. Or excuse me, Mike's already been a member. Yeah, Mike's been a member forever. So whoever is on the receiving end of Mike's gift, welcome. And that brings us to Ivory, who's celebrating 7 months with us.
Ivory says, I call a 21-7 Ravens win. Thanksgiving was a fluke on night games at the bank. Also, the @names are on other podcasts too, so it's a YouTube thing. Hashtag Raven Dogs. Now, I told you, remember we had @ for like a long time. I was looking it up. Did I push a button? No. It was a move that YouTube was going to make. Maybe we were like somehow some guinea pigs. It was given back, and now everybody's there, I think. So if you want to be called by something else, I guess you got to change your @
Nice to know, though. Nice to know that it's not just us. So thanks, Ivory, for checking in on that. And Shelly says that she was on the receiving end of Mike's gift. So that's pretty cool.
Nice.
Good for
That
you
makes
guys.
me happy.
Yeah. Appreciate you guys for spending part of your Fridays with us, including Steve Loop is here inside the vault. Welcome. If you guys could on the way in, please like the video, subscribe if you haven't already done so, hit that notification bell, consider becoming a channel member or gift giving membership today. Sarah, what's Nick up to these days now?
Oh, Nick writes, before we get to his video, let's give a little background. As we know, Lamar Jackson missed Wednesday's practice, listed on the injury report, as you can see here, with an illness. John Harbaugh on Wednesday was asked about it. He's like, oh yeah, it's like a flu-like deal. And the team doctor wanted to send him home. So Lamar returns to the building and practice and everything else on Thursday. And they were asked, the reporters asked him several questions about missing, rest day, illness, all that kind of stuff. Here's what Lamar had to say.
How are you feeling? It sounded like you were under the weather yesterday. Good, yeah.
It's been frustrating though. I mean, you've had different injuries. You had a rest day last week, and now you have an illness. You know, knowing how big.
I mean, I mean to cut you off, but another rest day. That's all. Yeah.
How do you feel your running game?
Like when you are sick and away, what are you in the tablet? What are you doing?
If I'm sick, I'm sick. I'm not doing nothing. I'm trying to get better.
Okay, so Bobby, you hear right there that he acknowledged he was sick because they were like, well, what'd you do yesterday? He's like, well, if I'm sick, I'm sick. They were like, did you go home with the tablet? Did you this and that? So he confirmed that he was sick, but because originally his comment was, it's just like he said, just another rest day. That's all. I think he was trying to say it's like another rest day. He's missed the Wednesdays or the 1 week. It was a Thursday, but he went out. So they were like, so what'd you do? Did you take a tablet home? No, if I'm sick, I'm sick. I'm getting better. So anyway, many people took this as like, something's wrong again. Put back on our Sherlock Holmes hats, get our little pipe. There's something amiss going on here, even though they didn't hear that last part. He said, I'm sick. So Jeff Zrebeck, to a lot of people replying to him, said, well, he was kept home by the team doctor. If it was just a rest day, he would have been in the building in meetings and all of that, which is what he has been doing. That's been the routine. He said, I think it was Lamar's point that it really wasn't much different than his typical Wednesdays off. That's definitely what I took from it. He's saying it's just like another rest day, not much different. It's acknowledging that he's sick. People trying to make it sound like there's this big conspiracy theory by him saying it's like a rest day is what he was trying to say. He said he was sick. So just want to you were smiling as I was explaining all that. So I don't know what your grin is over there.
I'm following. It's just the messaging can be hard to keep up with and starts to take on a life of its own when you know how it goes in social media. So I'm just following along because I do think that it's like there is something to smile about, right? Because at some points it's just like, oh, just get us to the game already, please.
Yeah. Well, there is something to smile about because he does seem to have a practice illness missed like almost every December, but it's usually just one, right? But it is funny. Like even yesterday I was joking. I was like, hey, it's another flu day for Lamar. It's almost as if Lamar's back. Like we're getting Lamar back. So there is usually one day a year where he misses practice due to an illness, a flu-like deal, as John Harbaugh said. But you said it very well. That a lot of times this stuff starts taking a life of its own. And boy, oh boy, did Nick Wright take this to a whole other level. If you have the question of like, why did he call it a rest day and John call it a flu day, even though Lamar later said that he was sick. Like if you had a question about that, if you have a question about why he gets sick one day a year, every year, like it's fine to have that question. But Nick Wright definitely gave it a full different life of its own.
Athlete. And I think there are a lot of signs of immaturity with Lamar Jackson. Within the game, doesn't face much adversity, but when he does, I think we see some immaturity. I think the way he uses social media speaks to immaturity. Being damn near 30 and not figuring out how to not get sick every winter when your job demands you be at your best every winter speaks to immaturity. He's the most important person in that franchise. He's an adult. He's a professional athlete. And he is the only, forget star, just starting quarterback in this league that every single year he can't manage to figure out how to not get the seasonal flu and miss his practice. That's a problem. There's a lot of stuff about this stage Lamar Jackson that flags as odd given his stature in the league, his stature with his team, and how good of a player he is. He's the only franchise quarterback in this league that the team seems to have no line on his week-to-week, day-to-day health status. He's the only franchise quarterback in this league that we expect every winter to get sick and have it show up on an injury report. It's been 6 winters in a row that this has happened. The only one it didn't was when he missed winter with an injury. You hold your face of the franchise star player to a high standard, and I think this is one area where Lamar is lacking, and I don't think that's unfair. I think there are a lot of...
Okay, so Bobby, just so you know, when you had like your Buffalo Bills plague that you had when you got homesick, just so you know, that means you're immature. You're immature for that. And anybody else that gets the flu, just so you know, it's because you're immature. You can't figure it out. You can't figure it out. He's sitting there pounding the table, talking about 6 winters in a row, which is true, that he's missed a single practice due to having the flu, and it's a problem. Really? And how does Lamar Jackson historically played in December? Would you say it's usually his best month?
Well, we just saw the graphic last week going into the Cincinnati game. He's never lost between week 15 and 18. So
oh, but this is a problem. Let's pound the table. He misses a practice every December due to the flu, and this is a problem. He's immature. Oh, my goodness. What are we going to do, everybody? Lamar missed a day due to the flu for 6 winters, and he's the best. He won an MVP based solely on his December play in 2023. Solely based off of his December play. But what a problem. Nick Wright putting on his Sherlock Holmes hat. He's cracked it. This is the problem. He's immature because he has the flu once in December. What are the Ravens going to do? Why did they give him that contract? Somebody tell me. Why? Why would you give this man a contract? How about what else here? How else is he immature? Was just a couple days ago, did we do a video about how he went out into schools and he went out and he not only put shoes on kids' feet, but he watched them. He washed their feet first. And why did he do it? Because the team chaplain came to him and talked about how this would be a Christ-like moment. Here's how he responded just in this last press conference. I bet Nick Wright didn't see this about his immaturity.
Man, I was in chapel. Chapel Johnny Sheldon had told us about this event. I'm like, yeah, I want to do that, but I didn't sign up for it. I just pretty much just went out there and did that. I felt like it was cool to do. I didn't do it for no special reason. Just for trying to do something for the community and do something Christ-like. Jesus Christ, yeah.
Yeah, very immature. How about when he was even younger, his 2019 year? How many times do players run into photographers? How about this? How about this when he ran over a photographer, went to make sure she was okay, and then talked about it later? Is this immature?
Human beings too, and I know we moving fast, get physical out there on the field, and we come at full speed, and she's sitting down, taking pictures. I know that kind of hurt it, so I had to make sure she was all right.
Did you say anything to her? What did you say?
No, I just rubbed her head 'cause it looked like I hit her head. Yeah.
Did you see the picture that she got of the play?
Yeah, the stiff arm. It was her with the picture. I just told her it was a great shot. I actually DM'd her and asked was she okay, and I told her that was a great pick. Yeah.
Is she doing okay?
Yeah, she told me she was fine. Yeah.
What an immature young man to reach out to a photographer that he accidentally knocked into and helped up and talked about how they're humans too. How about and I guarantee Nick Wright was one of the people who were trying to divide the Ravens during the contract saga. It wouldn't shock me. I could have gone back and gotten receipts if Nick Wright was one of the many people in national media saying that Lamar going into his contract offseason was not really injured. Remember when he got injured and he wasn't playing, and then Snoop had to come out and then he played in that playoff game? Oh, Lamar was actually just holding out for his contract. And then Lamar went on the lounge afterwards saying all of that was BS. Let's see who's immature. Are the people who are immature, are they immature for saying that he was holding out when he was really injured, or was he really injured?
Seems like that was such a misconception.
Yeah, like people, he's sitting out because he's not paid. I'm like, bro. If anything, I would have shot out week 1. Like, I was the one who cut it off. It was like not Eric or Coach Harv, like no one like that. Like, oh, you have this deadline. It was like me. I set the deadline. I'm like, man, because I don't want to talk about it. Like, I want to focus on winning.
Right.
I want everybody to know I'm tuned in with what's going on right now. Not, the contract we had all season to get that situated. It's not situated right now. So I just want to focus on winning with the guys.
First one.
Yeah, so immature, so mature. Maybe it's the analysts who are reading too much into every situation that are immature. How about, let's talk about taking care of your body. He talked right here. He had just gotten his contract. They bring up that Joe Flacco went to McDonald's afterwards. He talks about how he takes care of his body.
His first purchase was McDonald's drive-through, I believe it was, right? No, that's not.
I'm fasting right now. I can't eat no
You're
McDonald's.
Fasting, right?
Yeah, I'm fasting, yeah. Spiritual fasting, and I'm like,
okay.
I'm only 4 days in. So.
Okay, so all right.
So no Big Macs today.
Nah, I'm not eating no Big Mac.
How long's the fast
I might not eat another
going?
a Big Mac, though, huh?
How long's the fast for?
21 days, so 17 days left.
Good luck to you, sir. I don't have that much willpower.
Nah, I do. I do.
I respect it.
I feel like I do. You know, I've been doing pretty good without it. You know, just know what you not supposed to eat, and you know, you ask questions like, "What is this? Like, what do you have? What's the ingredients in it?" They telling you, no, just find something that's good, that's suitable for you, and that's what I've been doing.
17 days. Wow.
He had 17 left of a 31-day. I mean, I'm sure the fast had certain things that he could eat. But he's like, I feel like I do have that willpower. I feel like I do. It's just like, listen, if you have questions about why he has a flu, that's once a year, fine. Ask the question. If you have questions about, I don't know what other things they brought. There's a running joke about, you know, the things that he eats or whatever, but clearly he has self-control. Like, all of this is crazy. There are fair questions. Can Lamar and the Ravens communicate better? Probably. I think that they could. I think that if you wanted to say, hey, there could be better communication between the two sides and Lamar's a part of that, fine. But the fact that we have to jump to these conspiracy theories like they did when he was in that contract year and he was actually hurt, but they were implying that he was just trying to stick it to the Ravens and that he wasn't hurt. He just wanted a contract. He says right there, well, if I want to do that, I would just held out in week 1. It's just constant, Bobby. It's constant with him. It's constant in the media of always there has to be something more devious and something crazier going on. And it must be that he's immature. Like, forget you. Let's be precise. Let's think about the reputations that we're trying to destroy. He missed a practice due to the flu, and you want to call him out and call him immature. The guy who got paid and came out and had an MVP year, won the MVP, had another MVP year, and now this year has been gutting through injury after injury after injury. But because he has the flu, now he's immature. Like, forget all of that. Forget it. It's ridiculous. Ask your questions. Don't make these major leaps.
Do you think that Nick maybe hasn't forgotten this?
Probably.
Everybody remembers this tweet. I think this is probably on the Mount Rushmore for Ravens fans, Lamar Jackson fans, in terms of some of his clapbacks online going after Nick, right? Because he sees and reads and hears all this stuff, right? Maybe not in season all the time, but this stuff has a way of perpetuating and getting onto his desk, I'm sure. So, somebody said, Bobby knows his role. When Sarah gets into that mode, he just sits back and watches. Don't we all? Well done. Great rant.
All right, let's move on.
All right, let's do it.
Did we get some super chats on that?
Yeah, we did. Yeah,
okay,
we did.
let's do that.
See.
Yeah.
Let's see. We left off with Ivory and his prediction, which is 21-7, which does remind me, I asked people to call their shot. We did. We asked people in the poll today. Coming up on 400 votes, are you predicting a Ravens win? Pretty simple. 86% say yes, 14% say no. So it's not, overwhelmingly yes there, but for the most part, a general vote of confidence going into the weekend. Frank Brady is celebrating 3 months of channel membership. And Frank writes, Merry Christmas, VAULTRONs. Celebrating the birth of our 3rd grandchild,
nice.
Ivy Joe. Ivy Joe, my Bengals-loving son-in-law, had something to celebrate this week, and it was not his team. It was a new member of his own team. So, Frank, congratulations to you and your family. That's awesome. Samuel Moore's here with us.
He says Nick Wright is a Lamar hater. He's looking for Baltimore fans to flip out and put him in the limelight. He's got a pretty big. He's already got a pretty big light shined on him. I'll say that. So I think it's worth shooting down what he and put truth into the light that's already shined on him.
Jeremy wants to shine on you. The Sarah rant needs to go viral. She absolutely cooked. Wildlife Wale says nobody wants to acknowledge that he's sick after being around kids during the flu season. C. Brittle is here.
Nick Wright is such a Lamar hater is more telling of him and less about Lamar.
Thanks, C, and thanks to everybody who's chiming in today with some super chats. We've got a boatload of quick hits. Where should we begin first here?
Well, I want to talk a little bit about the defense here. Dre'Mont Jones, as we know, has just been cooking, but he thinks somebody else is cooking right along next to him and will cook continually. He was on the Ryan Ripken show and talked about one Mike Green.
In particular, we supported him since I've been here. And we're always in his ear trying to help because Mike's so young and so talented. In my opinion, he's probably the best rookie in this class. So, and he has the most talent. He has the highest ceiling in his entire class, more than Travis Hunter, more than all the boys. So Mike Green's special. And I think the moment Mike Green puts it all together, I think his cop is like Nick Bonito. I think he can be that, if not better, because Mike is aggressive in the run game, and he can rush that passer more than just being bendy. He can be a power rusher. He can be a speed rusher. You know, he has so many different facets of his game. I can see Mike getting better and better each and every year, and as he gets better in his league. And as a team, since I've been here, we've just grown. And I know I can't speak too much on it because I wasn't here in the beginning, but from the time I got here into now, this team has been just gelling super well, and we're communicating on all facets, and we just got to keep it up.
Wow. Nick Bonito, though, by the way, for those that haven't followed his career, he was an Oklahoma standout. Denver drafted him in the second round, and since he's become a Bronco, sir, he's just been exceptional. 35 and a half sacks since 2022. That's when he came into the league. He's 6'3", 240. He's an absolute problem, just much like the entire Broncos defense. So that's not just a comp that's being thrown out there. That's a lofty one. And if Mike ends up realizing that potential, Ravens are going to be better for it.
I hope he's right. I hope he's right that he's going to be, are you kidding me? He thinks he's going to, as the highest ceiling of anybody in the class, even put Travis Hunter in there. That might be, I don't know if that's teammate, building up another teammate, but even if he's in that conversation, it would mean big things for the Ravens. And it would mean big things if the Ravens could re-sign Dre'Mont Jones so that he could be a part of that. I would love to see Dre'Mont and Mike Green stick together. And Zach Orr, in yesterday's press conferences, talked about how big of an impact Dre'Mont Jones has had on them and being able to allow them to have four-man pressures.
Man, it's real impactful when you can win with the four-man rush and you can win at multiple spots. So now you can hunt mismatches, and that's what we was able to do with Dre'Mont. And I thought the whole front, man, the outside linebackers, the D-line, played their best game of the season last week, and we needed them to. We told them, we said, look, we're going to have to go in here, we're going to have to win with four at times, and they dominated in the four-man rush. And the physicality, it all started with the physicality and the violence. We challenged those guys nonstop to play like that regardless who's in there, and they done that, man. They did that. So we're looking for another performance of that. If we can get that out of them, we're going to be in good shape. So they had a great practice today. We're looking forward to it.
Thank you, Zach.
Appreciate
You just look at Zach lighting up. Oh, man, it's huge that I can have four-man pressures. Are you kidding me? I can only imagine the relief he's having. It's like Greg said, the best way to defend Drake Maye with a lot of guys is a four-man pressure, but then also having that spy. And if they can continue that, you could just see it's like almost a weight lifted off of him, and the impact that Dre'Mont is having, the impact that Mike Green's, every day getting a little bit better as a rookie. Just keep it. Travis Jones stepping up and getting rewarded with the contract. All of it, you can see Zach Orr smiling even more. He's never lost his fire, but he's smiling more for sure.
I can't imagine how much of a weight off his shoulders it must be, right? Look, this is all playing in nicely here. If you can continue to get home with that four-man rush. Mm-hmm. We talked to Greg about it, right? We mentioned the Aaron Schatz DVOA number. Drake, as part of his MVP campaign, Sarah, has not missed when blitzed. He makes the right decisions. He gets flushed out of the pocket, like Greg said, and he's really dominant and surgical, flush to the right, throwing on the run from the right-hand side, because makes sense. He's a righty. But that's where he's killed him. So if the Ravens get in a position where, yet again, it's that wishy-washy, inconsistent pass rush, and he's forced to dial up some of these blitz packages, look out, because his safety valves, as Greg told us, Stephon Diggs and Hunter Henry, a wide receiver and a tight end, respectively. So he's made the right decisions, but don't put your coordinator in a position where he's got to make a decision to lean and almost live and die off the blitz. Find a way to get home. It's easier said than done with the way that, you heard Greg, he was raving about the pass protection, the overall durability with this offensive line that have kept Drake Maye upright. And that's without, again, their star left tackle, the rookie first-round pick, Will Campbell. So they got a second time in as many weeks, right? They've faced several second, third, fourth stringers, right? Same thing with Pittsburgh. But anyway, the player behind Will Campbell is a guy named Bedard Lowe. So that's a second string tackle that they're going to be out there making sure that Drake's blind side is protected. And ultimately the Ravens are going to try and make sure that's not the case.
Agreed. And by the way, I didn't show this, but just so you can see, here's Lamar returning to practice yesterday. Looks like he's just fine. And speaking of Lamar, I'm trying to remember what the question was that was asked.
Is this Fox 45 footage right here?
Yeah, this is Morgan Adsit right here.
Yep.
So there he is. Just some practice footage here. But I'm trying to remember what the question was. It was either for I know what it was. They were asking him how the Ravens have been so good in the third quarter, right? Coming out of the half, whereas they haven't been good in the first quarter. I think you spoke to when was the last time they scored on the first drive? Did you say it was against the Chiefs?
Well, going into Thanksgiving night, they hadn't scored since that week against Kansas City.
Okay.
So Thanksgiving night they did. I don't believe they have since. I'm talking about touchdowns too, not field goals, not anything else.
Right. But they have been really good coming out of the half. And so Lamar Jackson's like, well, they asked him, how did you guys do that? You know how Lamar says, I can't call it, like over and over and over again. Yeah. He kind of does the same thing here. He says, I can't call it, or I don't know. And then finally he's like, okay, I do know, but
I don't know. I'm gonna start saying I don't know. I know, but I don't want to give it away. How about that?
Simple as adjustments.
Yeah, adjustments. Okay. Yeah.
That's funny.
He's like, okay, I do know. I just didn't want to give it away. Like all the time, he's like, I can't call it. I don't know. Okay. Let me be real. I do know, but I'm not telling you guys. Why would I tell you guys?
That's good.
Yeah.
Just to reiterate, by the way, something that we mentioned earlier in the week, this kind of falls under like the something's got to give category, if you will.
Yeah.
New England's defense in the red zone, 32nd, dead last in touchdown percentage. 75% of the time that an opponent makes its way into the red area, they're scoring a touchdown on this New England defense. What
percent? 75%
What's
of the time?
That's an insane number.
Oh, that's great news. Yes,
but this is why I'm saying it's under the something's got to give category, right. But that's not exactly a guarantee category now, is it? With the Ravens offense, they've been nothing short of inconsistent, up and down, and subpar. And in this case, sub 50% when they get to the red area.
44.
They, as an offense, rank second to last at 31st overall in touchdown percentage at 44 flat. So we will see.
It's got to meet in the middle.
Something like that.
Right? It's got to meet in the middle. That means the Ravens will be like 60%, 66%, something like that. Let's get that. How about that?
There you go.
Last quick hit is last night. I don't know if many people watched it, but the Seahawks, led by former Ravens defensive coordinator Mike Macdonald, had their own comeback to beat the LA Rams. Here is why couldn't we have this in Buffalo last year? Here is let me pull it up here, game-winning 2-point conversion. Here we go right here. Game-winning 2-point conversion. Have to have it. You're down by 1. Snap it. Sam Darnold drops back. He's got all the time in the world. The tight end leaks out, finds him in the end zone. That's your 2-point conversion to win the game. And Mike Macdonald and the Seattle Seahawks have clinched their playoff spot. And I believe I guess we should look it up. I believe they're number 1 in the NFC right now. Is that correct, Bobby? Conference.
Oh, gosh. I guess so, yeah, because it was just between them and
the Rams.
Between them and the Rams. So, yeah, now they're atop it. And this was the game of the year. I think it's pretty.
Yeah.
I think you can confidently say that.
Rams are now number 5. They're 11-4. Seattle's now 12-3, number 1 seed with 2 games for them now remaining.
Good for Mike, man. It's nice. It's a great story for Sam Darnold too. The guy successfully resurrected his career after dealing with all the dysfunction in New York. Gets an opportunity with Kevin O'Connell last year in Minnesota. Had a tremendous individual season. They decide to move on from him because they have J.J. McCarthy waiting in the saddle. And Seattle's like, hey, we're going to give you a shot. And wow, what an upgrade that's been over Geno Smith. And Mike clearly is worthy of all the praise and every penny that the Seahawks and several other teams, Sarah, that were breathing down his neck after that 2023 season, which was a historic one defensively in Baltimore. And man, not even 2 years later, look at them. They're about to potentially be like you're suggesting here, potentially the top overall seed in the NFC, which is no slouch of a conference this year. So, but that game was ridiculous. I mean, it had a little bit of everything. Seattle dug themselves out of a 16-point hole. This game went into overtime. You had fluky officiating nuance that had Sean McVay running hot post game. I mean, there was a lot that went on last night. We were all watching it at this bar, and
I have questions about your night last night.
Yeah, you can probably tell. You can probably tell. There's nothing really to be excited about today.
Oh, geez. All right, look. Let's get to some super chats, and let me just ask my questions. I purposely didn't ask in the pre-show call so that we could do this live.
Yeah, I figured.
All right.
Like we planned. That was right on cue.
That's right.
Mike's gift went to Shelly. So, oh wait, I'm sorry. This is a second gift from Mike.
Second gift, yep.
I'm sorry, I missed that. So, thanks for the second gift, Mike.
Mike's in a generous mood
out there. Yeah, let us. What's that?
I said Mike's in a generous mood today.
He is, and I want to know who's on the receiving end. The first one was Shelly. Who's the second one? Let us know. Gary's celebrating 7 months of channel membership, and Gary writes, "Still mad y'all nerfed me. How'd I go from Bro Flacco to Gary? Let's get this W Sunday #Vault." Gary, the reason why you did is your handle's that way, bro. I have no idea. That's what your handle is.
Change your handle, Gary. Change your handle.
Gary's like, I feel seen. Nobody was supposed to see my actual name. Is that what's going on here? Anyway, Gary, yeah, I'm sure that can be changed on the back end of your YouTube server. At the word pimp is here.
Look
at this.
You're mad at us. Take it up with YouTube. Okay. The word pimp. This is weird. For some reason, the story is over. For some, the story is over. However, ours continues. You can't write the Ravens off yet as they resume their rise after a bit of a stumble. Prediction: Ravens beat Patriots 31-19. Oof, would I love a resurgence. Hey, the word, is that all offensive points, or is there a defensive pick six in there or something?
Yeah.
I would love to see the offense back in the scoring of 30 points the way it used to be before Lamar's injury.
Yeah, I'm not gonna stand on that prediction counter that I was willing to do a week ago. I got it right, so I'm just gonna kind of stand pat and predict a normal game. Just not get too into the weeds here. But 31-19. Let us know if you have any more context to that at the word pimp. Boy, would I love to know how that username came to be. But let's get some patrons in here. Yeah. And obviously, as we set the table for the weekend, Sarah, you and I will probably be coming on as we typically do for primetime games at midnight.
Yeah.
So that'll be midnight Monday morning. Technically, it's an 8:20 start in Baltimore. I will have pregame coverage starting in the 7 o'clock hour, typically on Sundays. So that's what we have coming up this weekend. We will be off Christmas Day. Just looking ahead to next week. The rest of the week should be normal. So that's what's going on right now. Although you and I got to talk about your birthday plans and everything. So Christopher Saxey and Big Fesh 927, shout out you both. Thank you both for all the support that you give us through Patreon. We appreciate you guys. Hope you're having an awesome holiday season. And if you guys are interested in doing the same, you can visit patreon.com/RavensVault podcast to learn more. I'm all ears.
Okay.
I'm wearing my heart on my sleeve, as you know. What would you like to know?
Okay, here's what I want to know. Okay, first of all, before we even get there, what outfit did you end up wearing? Bobby, by the way, for those that weren't here yesterday, Bobby has been trading eyes and a little bit of pleasantries with the girl at his gym. He was hoping at their gym social, Christmas social, that maybe he could get a feel for if things go to another level. So before we talked about your outfit, what did you wear? Just tell me what you wore when you walked in.
Well, as promised, first of all, I know you pushed me to go to Target and try to inspire me with yesterday's festive outfit. Man, man, sometimes the season just catches up on you. You know, I laid down to listen to Lamar's press conference. And when I say laid down, Tilly just looked really comfortable on this pull-out couch that I have over here in the living room.
Yeah.
So I just sat down there with her and put my feet up, and you know, I've just been going a mile a minute since I got here. You know, you have as well, and I think a lot of us are holiday season, in season prep, blah blah blah. I woke up at 4:00. I was like in a dehydrated state and confused and stressed and holy, what's going on with my second
when that happens.
you know, like, what did Lamar say? I missed it, you know, and so you get up and you realize, well, I can't go to Target.
Okay.
I am going to have to go with the bomber that I told Sarah I would wear to begin with, which was sort of festive anyway. It was a maroonish, you know, the maroonish undershirt is what I wore with the green bomber and jeans. And so that's what I.
Okay. All right. So you walk in with your green bomber, and was she there already when you got there?
No.
Okay.
No.
Tell me
And
about
here's
when
what the
she
problem
did
was.
get there. Did she get there?
Yes.
Okay.
This was the issue.
With whom?
Well, there's some like nuance to that. So let me get there.
All right.
Showing up to a gym social, to a place that you've been a member at for 3 months alone, comes with a set of challenges that I was well aware of going in, which is why I showed up about 30, 40 minutes late, thinking that there would be more people, or I'd be more inclined or more likely to see people that I've gotten to know through class that I could chat with, rather than just being a loner or having to infiltrate my way into friend groups or conversations that I shouldn't, or that would be a forced job. So no, she was not there, and no one I knew was there to start. So I walk in and I'm like, oh, and you know me, I mean, I'm an extrovert to the nth degree. So I just kind of like started chatting with people at the bar and watched the game a little bit, but it was a very slow start.
Okay.
To answer your question.
Okay, yeah. So it's a slow start, but eventually she comes in, and you're at the bar with people that you are just getting to know. And then what happens?
She came in. I realized she was there. She was off to the side of the room for several minutes, and I'm in a conversation with a guy that I had just met. And so we're kind of like, I don't think we had exchanged any kind of eye contact or anything, but I could see her out of my peripheral. I'm sure she could as well. But she was getting smothered. You know, she's very popular there. She's in the membership side of things, just as a part-time gig or whatever.
Yeah.
And her friend group is clearly all through the gym. So, you know, this is really important for me. Like, I hope you guys all understand. I kind of hinted at it earlier this week. Like, you know, I don't want to be that guy that joins this community that's been really a great source of community for me. And I don't want to be that guy that comes in guns blazing and all of a sudden is like rubbing people the wrong way without knowing the true dynamics of the gym.
Yeah.
That's a long story. That's a long way to say. We chatted, we hugged. She got up off the seat, hugged me. Wait, said
she
hello.
Approached you, or you approached her?
I'd say I probably more approached her.
Okay.
She looked up, and I was going to either kind of, you know, I wasn't sure. I didn't want to interrupt what was going on. She was kind of smothered by, you know, all these people. It's a group setting. It's packed. You know, it's loud. Not the best environment ever. And of course, I probably should have known this going in. But so I got up, and she gets up. I stand up. She hugs me. We say hello. I'm chatting with her friend group, and ended up kind of just becoming this like hodgepodge worth of conversations. And so
okay,
there was really. Unfortunately, this was a little bit of an underwhelming lead up, maybe, that I started to tell yesterday.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing that really went down at all.
Okay, but it's not like anything ruined it either, though. Just opportunity didn't present itself. What?
The biggest detail I unintentionally left out, just because I've been trying to give you good details and make it seem like you guys were there with me. The biggest detail is that there were a couple dudes that were flocking around the table. And again, I have no idea. I have absolutely no idea. One in particular seemed to be hovering. So you just don't know. You know, you just don't know. And as much as our
conversation, there were like probably 3 guys who had the same mentality as you going in.
One was sitting down though, and they're like next to each other at one point. And so I did kind of be that guy to pry a little bit with a few of the new dudes that I met that have been members for years. I was like, hey, off the record here, can you tell me whether or not you think this, is she single over there? And they didn't know. But
Okay.
But seriously though, like I need to be really mindful of not being the guy that all of a sudden is running through the gym.
Right.
And I'm not even talking about sexually. I'm talking about romantically.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to be that guy.
Yeah.
But as you know, I know no one here. And so you start to press a little bit in some cases when you're wanting that community. You're a little bit fatigued by the dating scene, as I've told you through online efforts since I got down here. It's a delicate balance that I'm trying to walk. I'm having a hard time with it right now, to be honest with you. Very hard.
Yeah. Well, you didn't press though.
I didn't,
So
but
you didn't.
And that's what makes it hard. That's what makes it hard because you just kind of like, shoot, should I have? That's what, I'm getting on a scooter on my way back at midnight, and I'm thinking to myself, like, what a miss. What a total miss.
Not necessarily because you see her several times a week. There's going to be more opportunities if it presents itself.
You know what though? I'm not even talking about specifically this girl that I've been interested in. I'm talking about the whole night.
Oh, okay.
And those nights get a little bit more urgent to me because of the limited community that I have here.
Yeah.
There's a lot riding on those nights when I go into them because I don't know the next time I'm going to be in an environment like that outside the online dating options that I have, which, as you know, haven't been there. They just have not been there.
Yeah.
So yeah, you could probably feel it, see it, hear it today. Just it's difficult down here. It's tough.
Yeah.
So what are you gonna do? This is what I signed up for this.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to commit to just sort of that stagnant social scene that I think I had gotten into, whether it was in Baltimore or back in upstate New York.
Yeah.
But this is sort of the reality of when you make that decision, you got to deal with this.
I feel like when you move, it usually takes like a good year to find like a group of people and you start to thrive, all that kind of stuff. So it requires a lot of patience for sure, which is not good for an extrovert like you that just likes to go out and get whatever, what you want.
For sure. And like, you speak to the time that it takes, just the same standards and but also the same standards and pickiness that my family members rip me for having in the dating world. I have that as well with my friend, like with people that I want to hang out with on a social set. I want to make sure we're like-minded people, and I'm not just hanging out with you because we met at a freaking bar and you're a frat boy. Like,
yeah,
no disrespect to frat boys, but like I'm just in a different phase of life. So
yeah.
Anyway, that's a little bit of a soapbox for you. Unfortunately, maybe everybody was expecting something a little bit more entertaining from last night. That was not the case. PW Traveler 33 says, Todd Monken, please remember to run the ball going into Sunday night. Wildlife tells me that my prediction last week was prophetic. I think he's asking me to keep it going.
Here we go.
I just don't feel it. I felt that last week. I'm not feeling it.
I hope you don't keep it going because a long time ago you said the Ravens were cooked, meaning they wouldn't make the playoffs. So hopefully these are aberrations.
All right, there you go. At the Word Pimp is celebrating 2 months of channel membership with us for you.
He says, all on offense. By the way, the word pimp is a carryover from the poetry slam period in the 90s. Didn't realize YouTube had flipped from my name.
I love the context that he just gave
the
us.
90s, we're going like 30 years back here. I mean, at least 26. Woo.
I love it. Wildlife also says, Bobby, go back and listen to Ed Reed's talk to the defense. If you want it, you got to go get it.
It's true. I almost pulled that clip in today, but I thought, you know what? We'll just do an hour for the show. We'll talk Bobby and get out of here on a Friday.
That's a cool message, though, from Wildlife. And I think it's a good reminder that, there are always ways to get yourself out there more than what you're currently doing.
Yeah.
And so I've thought about potentially adding a second fitness type of membership in my life, more of a Pilates class at night, and start doing 2-a-days a couple times a week. I've thought about doing something I never thought I would ever do and join a freaking rec sports league. Maybe I'll start showing up to the local church solo on Sundays.
There you go.
Is starting to come down. The off season's right around the corner.
Hey, it worked for 50% of us in this podcast.
Yeah, it did.
There are 2 people that run the vault. 50% of us that worked.
It did. That's noted. Very noted. Need to get in a
Bobby,
similar
people are saying that
community
you
with
sound stuck up. I think the way you want to say that you like you just want to be able to vibe with friends and girlfriend. Like it's not just that you're better. You say picky, but it's more like there can be awesome people, but you just don't click. You got to find people that you click with.
Yeah. Wow. Eileen,
Yeah.
Eileen taking that
A few
totally
people did.
not what I,
Yeah.
certainly not at all the way that I'm trying to come across. I think who you spend your time with and who you surround yourself with tells the story of who you are. And I don't know. To me, I've always had a high standard of people that I want to be with, both romantically, socially, and everywhere else in between. And yeah, I know that's what I said a minute ago. I'll say it again. I just, if that's the way I'm coming across, I'm sorry, but that's just what I stand on, and that's part of the reason why that does come with a set of challenges, at 31 and single. That's probably a big reason as to why I am in this mode. And I'll leave you with this, Sarah. This is a weird time. It's a weird time for me. Hopefully this is not too therapeutic. Like this is becoming therapeutic maybe, but I wrote to somebody last night that put up in front of Rockefeller Center, the tree, a photo of a hard launch. She and her new boyfriend. We call it the hard launch.
Okay.
Or she calls it the hard launch. And I went to school with her and she's very nice and she seemed thrilled, right? So I wrote her with like an eye emoji and like clapping, like, hey, congrats, like you've been out there for a long time in the single world and it looks like you found a guy. And, she wrote back, she's just like, she actually took a swipe of my best friend because she wanted me to set him up with her, but he didn't want it. So he's like, she's like, shoulda, coulda, woulda. I was like, all right, that's not why I reached out to you, but, but then I wrote to her, I said, it's such a weird time of life right now where it doesn't seem like there's any in between of the following things. My peers currently consist of the following: engaged to be married situations, entrenched in kids and that life and that phase. 3, already divorced and sort of looking for that next phase. And right. And of course you have the long-term active dating and whatnot, but there's not a lot of that, at least in my network. And so I kind of find myself of those 4 things those 4 areas of life. I'm like, I'm not in one of those. And it's just this bizarre knowing that, and I'm thrilled for her and I can't wait for this. Tori in June, and sorry for football's over. Like Sarah always says, football's over. I'm sorry for this, but Tori's getting married. My sister's getting married. I'm officiating it in June. It's going to be fantastic. I cannot wait for it, but it's weird. It's just this weird phase that I'm in that I kind of feel strangely out of place. And I'm trying to find my groove.
Yeah.
And there's far bigger problems in the world, and I'm extremely blessed. But all of this is exacerbated when you spend a lot of time alone. That's what I've been reflecting on lately.
Yeah. That all makes sense.
Yeah.
You will find your groove.
Not a victim. I'm not any of this. I'm not that.
Oh, no.
I'm just talking through a lot of the areas that have been occupying space in my mind. We do have more super chats. Yeah, Adit, I saw this a second ago. So this deal just got done. Ken Rosenthal and others are sharing that the Orioles are going to pluck from a player that's right around the corner from me here in Tampa. So, wow. Shane Baz from the Tampa Bay Rays, a right-hander. The Orioles are in need of continued rotation improvements, and this will certainly help. And that's in exchange for outfielder Slater DeBrun, catcher Caden Bodine. Wow, this is a whole haul of players. I won't even say all of them, but it's a total haul. It's a total haul. He's got a heck of a fastball and a whole mix worth of pitches that, anyway, Adit, well done on the Orioles coverage. He's always on top of this.
Love it.
Sarah, if you've been keeping track, it's been a busy couple weeks for the O's.
I haven't even tried to keep track, but it keeps hitting my timeline. So yeah, it's another big move.
Yeah. On top of the big spending that they did within the last week or two with Pete Alonso. So thanks for the update there, Adit. And Lauren's here with us.
Yeah, Lauren says that she said it a while back. She's going to re-say it. She says, start playing pickleball. I love pickleball. I play it. There's like a new pickleball court that got set up. There's like, they say it's like one of the biggest in the country. I'm telling you, there's like like 100, more than 100 pickleball courts. It's massive.
Cool. I would like to,
but yeah,
I'd
that's
like to-
fun.
Yeah, I think that'd be fun.
Yeah, it's a lot
Maybe
of fun.
maybe I'll do that this off season. You know,
You
That'd be
should.
fun.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
And Wildlife Wale says, I don't usually read the chat. They got me rolling. Is this all on the dating stuff?
I'm sure I haven't even scrolled up.
Ah.
Look, I
A lot
appreciate
of
the
good
chance.
upvotes for pickleball.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Good. Look, Sarah, you always know I appreciate the chance to share, what's on my mind and be a little bit, I'm sure, to a fault sometimes, an open book. And most everyone is likes to, well, I don't know if they like to listen, but they're a good sounding board. And I appreciate everybody being, receiving to that. So I think that'll do it for our week.
All right.
And you and I will be back on Sunday.
Indeed. Maybe Monday morning. I mean, we'll maybe a little bit of both. A little Sunday night and Monday morning. It's probably what it's going to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be, we know
big
how it goes.
game.
We know how it goes, and that'll be the case for the foreseeable future. And maybe for the next 3 weeks in total. We'll wait and see what happens week 18. But partner, appreciate you as always. Hope you have a fantastic first half of your weekend. And it'll feel like a full weekend with kickoff not being until 8:20. But yeah, thanks guys, and thanks to all of you for spending some time with us. If you could on the way out, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell. You can become a channel member or gift give membership today if you are interested in doing so. And thanks to Primary Residential Mortgage for the continued support of our show. We're going to give out that $100 Fanatics gift card coming up later this month. So go get a head start. Dive in if you haven't already done so. Sarah and I will catch up with you on Sunday. And as always, Vaultrons, thank you for spending some time with us here inside the vault.